Okay, so hello everyone. Today I'll be showing you something I've been working for the previous 2 weeks now, and this is somewhat of my recent new project, which I've got an idea recently, basically about this project. Now, to be honest with you, I think there's nothing special about it, but since I'm in my first year of university, and oftentimes I'm stuck in a situation where I don't have enough free time to do everything I want to do, like my hobbies, my side activities, so I don't have enough time, which for now I'm literally referring to learning a foreign language. So by working with this project, what I'm trying to achieve is like I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. And I think without further ado, I have to show you what it is capable of. So basically, of what you're seeing right now in front of you, this file, which is named file, obviously, so it is the core, or shall I say, like the heart of my project. It contains all the backend. By the way, backend in it of itself, like I made another file out of it, backend for literally helping the file, the core file. So I may not stuck into I may not like create some mess for me later on, since, and by the way, of what you're trying to see here and what you're looking at, it is going to be literally the fraction, or should I say like less than a fraction of what I'm trying to achieve. So it is literally nothing about my end project, obviously. So this file contains some main windows, or, and by the way, I'm using Qt PyQt for this project, the PyQt GUI application, or should I say like the GUI packages or libraries. So I'm using those, and it contains basically classes, but their signals and their functions, they are built in another classes, or shall I say like modules. So like I've mentioned, so I may not create mess for myself later on. Now I think it is going to be inappropriate to show you the code and what is it capable of before even showing you about my project. So I'm gonna run my project over here, and before I proceed, I want to activate my Conda environment, which is activate by GUI. Basically it is an environment I built for my GUI applications. And if I can show you before I can show you what packages I'm running on this virtual environment, so I can show you that. So Pygame, but basically PyQt5 and basically their side packages and PySide too, these are the one which I'm concerned for the most part. So I think without further ado, I can simply run the file because I think it's been too long now. Yeah, so this is it right now of what you're seeing here on the screen. Now I'm not saying that just because I've mentioned Chinese is the only thing I'm working on does not mean that I have abandoned all the other things. They are equally as functional as Chinese, the Russian and French. But the problem is there is nothing to show you there. Like even what you see right now, pronunciation and grammar, they have been literally stored, or should I say like I'm just using the same GUI or maybe the PNG file I made for the Chinese. I'm just copying them there in the French language, so, or all the other languages you saw back there. So yeah, there is nothing I've done about them for now. But if you talk about Chinese, it is full, however not functional obviously, like all of it. But if it's distracting you people, so yeah. So Hansel characters, it is the only thing which have been finished by me, and it contained like a study plan. Now 1000, 1500, 2000, I think they're going to be too a lot for even the 500, like even the 500 is going to be too much for a single video. So what I did is set it to 5 for demonstration purposes, obviously. And if I can show you how I did it. And by the way, one more benefit I have for having everything in the core is I can easily modify it straight away, like in the core file. I don't need to go into all these libraries, or, I mean the modules or these other Python files are made for making my life easier. So I don't want to make it hard. So for that reason, I've put like the main core component functions or the variables on the on the front file page. So here, as you can see, if I select, I'm going to be demonstrating you later on, so don't worry about that. But as you can see, this number 5 was responsible for this 5 over here. And by the way, one thing you may have noticed, every time I run this file, no matter what plan I select, the characters are random. And if you may ask where they are coming from, they are actually coming from, it's considered like a module, but it's basically only a Python module built for Hanzo, and by naming convention I just put it 2000 because there are actually more than 2000, but I'm gonna be like using the 2000s of them, you know. So there's only, I've only imported a random library there, and there is only one function which is named pick Hanzo, and there are 3 lists, the one being Hanzo, the other one being Pinyin, and the last one being English. Now, English translation is not accurate, by the way. I mean, this application is only built for showing, for helping you recognize the Chinese characters, not to teach you, because I think it is something I will do later on in this project. But for now, I want to keep things simple, even achieving this was still hard in the first place. So it generate, so like basically it pick up the list, and by the way, the list, the total elements in this list, like in Pinyin, in Hanzo, and English, they all are equal and they are parallel. And by parallel, I mean, suppose if here you see this ling, let's take this as an example because I think it is going to be much easier even if you don't understand Chinese. So this single dash you see is like E, which means 1 in Chinese. So if you check the Pinyin, on the second element there in the list Pinyin is also E, and English is, in the English list it's 1. So I have to keep parallel, and there is a reason for it. And basically, so what I do is generate a random number on the basis of on the length of 100. Like the minimum starting is 0 and the maximum is list Hanzo -1, and -1 because like Python, and it's Python things, you know, like sometimes the last number is not included, so that's why I have to -1 from it, and it generates a number, and then I throw that number in the Hanzo. Since they all are the same, so whatever is put here in Hanzo is also same in Pinyin and English, so I don't have to worry about if they are going to match or not, because they matched. And so since it's the same, and then it returns the value, and these are actually all of these characters you see there. I can show you, like these characters. And there's one more thing about it, like you may have noticed these 2 radio buttons. One is print and paint. By what do I mean by that? They are basically fonts. Now, oftentimes I was talking to my friend and he was confused between the traditional characters and simplified characters. Now, for the sake, like for heaven's sake, it is not simplified or traditional. By all means, no. What you're seeing right now is 2 different fonts. So one is basically, you see the print one on like I think on books or on newspaper or on like a TV something. It's like printed. On the paint is like something you do it with a paintbrush, or I think this was the only thing I can relate it to it for right now. I think this was the closest one I found, you know, and it was like built in. There was some built-in font in the Microsoft Windows, so like I don't have to worry about searching them on the internet. But I think they are still working fine for now, and they're the same character, by the way, but 2 different fonts. Like one is from paintbrush and the other one is by print, you know, and they are basically flashcards. Now how flashcard works, I think I don't need to explain you how flashcard works here. So you flip. Now, so I was not cheating, but I already knew this one, so I'm gonna avoid this thing. And keep in mind, if I'm gonna take it, it's gone now. However, this one I don't know. Change. Alright, I'm gonna select this cross because I don't know this one. But keep in mind, ignore all the characters I'm like ignoring with this check mark, but also keep in mind, every time I use this cross, it add to a cache, or shall I say like it add to the repeat list, which I'm going to be showing you, which I will show you in a moment. and Sun, Wu, okay, Yao, Yo, okay. So I think I did 3 of them right and 2 of them wrong. Yeah, that's obviously it's like there were 5 in total and I have missed 2, or should I say like I was incorrect about 2 and I have done 3 of them right. Now it is up to me now. I forget about this nonsense here, but it is about me now. Like if I want to repeat my mistakes, I can. If I don't want to, I by all means I can. Like there is no obligation. So as you can see, it is the same character I've made. Like there is no randomness anymore. Of what you're seeing here, of all the cards I have so far missed, or like I was unable to correct them or unable to recognize them, so I used the cross here, and for that, like now I can go with a check. But if for some reason I still failed to still remember the characters, some of them, I can always go with the cross, and even if there is still one card and I'm failing multiple times, it still does not matter until I just got it right, or until I just want to give up, obviously. So this is something I wanted to show, and the same formula applies for the 1000 cards. Even if there are like more than 1000 cards, you know, like 1000 is just a number. Like I just, you know, it's study. But I think if someone is using, I think for the most part, if you want to try or something, I think you will be sticking to 500, because if you are still repeating it, it is still in the end of the day going to be 2000 cards. But it does not matter, and rest is history. Like it does not work, like I said. Now I think I have to explain you the code here. So starting with the heart, the core file, the main window, radio button 1, 2, 3, 4, they are responsible for, so that basically they are responsible for every radio button represent a language: English, Russian, Chinese, French, all of them. And by radio button, and there's also one push button, like there was this push button. This is the push button, like the button, and then these are the radio buttons, like I don't know how to call them, and they are like, you know, circle, and you can only select one at a time, you know, like you can only toggle one at a time. So this is the thing about it. And radio button and push button, by the way, I'm speaking the language of PyQt5. I'm assuming if you know tk-enter or some other GUI libraries like Kiwi or something, you know, like I think they are probably the same there. But right now, since I'm using PyQt5, I'm like literally speaking the language of PyQt5, since this is what I'm learning for the most part. And each of them is responsible for calling for their own actions. Furthermore, the action is the main action, like the action for main window is I used the backend. Like I didn't use any third-party module for that. I just used the main function for that. But the thing about it is, since if you talk about the UI, let me tell you about the UI. UI is something, like I said, I use GIMP. By the way, I use GIMP to make this custom UI, and it is actually a font, like you know, because I wanted it to be artistic. So because I mean that effect you see, it was still hard for me to put that kind of effect, this kind of highlight effect. And by the way, they look ugly here, but I'm assuming like back there when you look at them at the in the application, they look better. I mean comparatively better of what they appear right now, you know. So I also wanted some effects here. I mean some of them don't work for now, but like there is some effect, you know. And everything there you see is actually like, even the plants, everything, you know, like even the check markers, and some of them are actually icons from an icon pack. I think I'm gonna be, even that yin yang you see, if I can show you again. Let me show you this yin yang, and even, god, not you, god, these, you know, these are some icons from an icon pack, which I think Fugue icon pack, by the way. So I think I'm going to be putting the link in the description below. Like it was open source, and I think so I'm also like contributing to the author here, like, so not copyright issues or something. And so coming back to the code, this code is responsible for languages, and each language has its own signal. And the reason why I don't want, why I build some signals into a separate module and call them from a separate module, is because I don't want to create mess for myself, even though it's a lot of fun. I mean, it may not appear, but it is a lot of code, and when there are going to be a lot of functions and a lot of of all of the language are like I've implemented everything, and there is going to be a lot of stuff going on then, and I think it is going to be hard to literally focus then, or maybe literally to make my life easier. So I have to make some modules so I know what file is responsible for what, and this backend is explicitly used for this thing only. Like, I mean, the front screen, you know, like even though when you open up this thing, you know, it is no longer the concern anymore, like the signals, you know, these signals. So I know it is a bit of code, but in the end of the day, like I'm sacrificing I mean, I'm still sacrificing a bit of like efficiency, you know. So I think in the end of the day I think I will be more happy to navigate and to implement more stuff by actually concerned about like I think it's been almost 2 weeks now, and still it's hard for me to get back to my code and literally look what function did what. So the main window is responsible for those 4 languages you saw, and then you have this English main window, Chinese main window, French and Russian main window. Now you may ask, what are they? They are actually, every time I click proceed, this Chinese window is, or not, this is French one, but like you got the idea. You have the Chinese window then, and then if I go with the English one, you have this English window then, which is a cute dialog box. And this Chinese window, you see, now there are like 6 options, you know, you may count them, there are 6 of them, and the second of it works, which is Chinese Kanji characters, which in it of itself open this new window. If you talk about the Chinese Hanzi character, it opened this window up, and then there you have the study plans. Like, it is responsible for showing you these study plans, so you can adjust the study plans according to your need. You may add 1,000, you may add 500, you may add 5 for demonstration or whatever. So once you're happy, it open a new window. Now there are going to be a lot of windows, you know. I think there are at least 6 of them. So it opened this main window. Now after that, there are no more options then, you know, like you just play with your flashcards, you know, you're just gonna play with the flashcards and everything until they're done. And once they're done, what happened is, yeah, I mean, I think I've already demonstrated to you, but I think I have to do it again. So suppose I'm going to show you, I'm just gonna, so yeah, so you saw that check button. I think I went too fast, you know. So that check button, once you show it open this check window, and then once this check button is open, if you are willing, then this check repeat window is open, and there is actually no big difference between check character repeat versus check 100 characters. I think the only big difference is and let me, like, if I can show you character frame, sorry, not the hunting characters, it's the hunting frame. This window is, as you can see, self, ran hand, ran pin, and ran ing. It import every time it is called, it is importing like or maybe it is like randomly generating, you know, it is calling the random character from there. But once we are repeating, we don't want any more randomness. We want our stuff, like we want a cache, like every time we click on that cross button, you know, repeat button, it append to the list, to an empty list here. Like, as you can see, we are also passing the empty list up there, you know, and it's appending to that list, and furthermore that list is passed to this repeat. And here we have no concept of we are deriving the answer from that list and the pin, you know, and the English from this list. But we are no longer concerned with the big answer like this file over here, because we don't want any more randomness here. And the same thing also happens here, even though we are repeating, but if we still want to repeat more, like I showed you, even if there is one card and you want to repeat it tens of times, you can. There's no one stopping you there. And then in the end of the day, like, it opened the check again, you know, check window again. And then from this moment onwards, there's a cycle going on. As long as you're just going with the yes button, there are like some cards in your deck, I mean the cards in the repeat deck, like the cards you want to repeat or you missed. So there's a cycle going on between these two functions then. They're gonna call each other, you know, in the end. But once you're done, like, the yes button is, like, I think I already showed you back there, it is locked in, and then you cannot use. Now in the Chinese file, there's nothing to add, like the pronunciation. There were a lot of options back there. Dialog practice, Changyu, which means Chinese idioms by the way. But you have this Chinese Hanzi, and everything is part of this class. If I want to call Hanzu frame, I can call it from this class, Chinese Hanzu class. So furthermore, if I want to call new things, or like if I'm like adding new stuff, or even if I'm updating into a class, so it may know, so I will be making new classes, and one class is responsible for all of their function, including their signals. I mean, the signals I made here. And actually, to be honest with you, like, I like doing this kind of stuff in this way, because I like, I like to, because I know what stuff was responsible for what. Even though right now, coming back and adding stuff related to English, like I'm literally planning, recently I'm adding some stuff, as I think you already saw this thing, which just do nothing but the pronunciation stuff. I'm going to add IPS, this stuff related to English pronunciation now, and it's still, I'm even adding this was still an issue, because I think I have to build a new file for it, and I think I'm gonna do it for the other one. Like, you see this class, like, I'm just gonna give it a silly name back there, and I made a class, and when I was calling the English, I was calling the class, and which in and of itself is going to be here. Like, you see, this class is going to call intermediate level. As you can see, like, from this class I'm calling this function. So in a nutshell, like, this is the basic code. Now I'm not sure like how I am explaining this stuff to you, because this is not a tutorial video, by the way. This is a demonstration, like, and I think once I'm done with it, or once I'm actually working on it, I think I'll be updating my channel with all these videos. And I think once I'm done with it, or satisfied with it somewhat, I think I'll be posting some tutorials, or maybe even some language guides, because I think learning a language is also my hobby. So I will be doing stuff related to this kind of thing. And right now I think there is nothing else I can show you, but this is all I can do. But before I go, I think we can still run the code one last time and see how good we can do. Now this one I don't know. I mean a case. Okay, my god. And this one too, and I think it's like Leo. Wow, oh my god. Ying. Oh. Okay, now. So I've done. Wait a second. What was that? I just couldn't run right. Oh my god. I think it was a misclick or something. Alright, so Chu, yeah, I know this one now. Qua, yeah. Ang, yeah. I don't know. Tiao, okay. Tiao, yeah. There's long. It is long. So this is how it works. This is how it works in the end. So this is my code, and thanks for watching.